is right behind them, and they get a chance.
Dunn motors in, and a save. Rebound, score!
The NHL's the greatest hockey league in the world, and I've heard players talk about that moment where they pulled on the uniform and stepped on the ice for the first time. You've now had that moment where you stood behind the bench in an exhibition game for the first time. What was that like?
Yeah, I mean, just it's a flood of emotions. You know, I think as a young kid, I grew up dreaming of playing in the NHL. That sounds pretty crazy to say, but that's what was out there for us to see, and I played boys hockey. So to know that despite the pathway that I had as a young female athlete and hockey player, and to be here now in this position, I'm just humbled, I'm grateful, and it's an unbelievable feeling being behind it all now.
You know the thing that struck me the most watching the practice, and it sounds almost odd to say it out loud, is that you were just a coach out there. You know, the way the players interacted with you, the way that you ran the drills, like there wasn't a moment where I was watching that where it seemed odd at all.
I mean, I think it's kind of the point. I put my skates on the same way as everybody else and approach my work the same way. And I know that this still appears new and different, and me being in this position is potentially more new to the guys than it is for me. Like I see them as hockey players, and it doesn't matter if I'm working with Team Canada national women's team player or an NHLer. Like the work, the focus is on them and how to help them. And so how I go about my work and how I go about my communication with them, it's got the whistle, you got the board, you got the video, and you got the drills. And so it's really exciting. I think that, you know, the experiences that I've had, especially in my time coaching as a power skating coach, getting to kind of create my own style, communication style, come through with on my own path to then get to apply that to the American Hockey League and really tighten that up to then bring it here to Seattle. I think it's just an organic process, and it's probably what you're witnessing.
Speaking of video, we have video from 2006. My colleague Briar Stewart did a story, as you know, when you were a young player coached by your mom. So I just want to play this for you and get you to react to it.
My sister's in this too.
Yeah.
The Prairie Fire definitely have something to sing about. They're groundbreakers, doing what their coach Minnie Campbell could only dream of when she was their age.
Let's win our battles tonight.
For the first time, Saskatchewan has a midget AAA league for girls. It's another sign of just how much women's hockey has grown.
This league is going to give the girls something to strive for and to inspire, to be inspired to.
Oh,
Monique's
man.
two daughters grew up
She
playing on
pushed
boys'
us.
teams, and they're thrilled to show off their stuff in this league.
Guys hockey's so fast and rough, and girls is just slow. And
I don't know if I
think
still
it's
believe
getting a
the
lot
same,
better
but
since the midget AAA league has started.
As her team and the league take flight, Monique believes the next generation of girls will be inspired to pick up a hockey stick. Briar Stewart, CBC News, Melville.
You know, it's when you see that or when I watch that, it's like you just realize how far we've come. And that was my first all-girls team, and I was 16 years old. So like up until then, I played with the boys. And it's funny because full circle, like my mom was our coach, but she was also my first minor hockey boys coach. And I think that, you know, seeing this footage, it's like, it's so clear to me that one, she's been a role model for me and modeled, you know, the coach in me and the leadership style that I definitely try to aspire to. But she showed up at such a young age when I was 5 years old and the only girl in the locker room with the boys, and was opening up the gate and doing the same thing. And I think that she planted a seed without me now as an adult realizing it, that I saw it, and maybe that's why I'm here now doing what I'm doing. It also makes me think of my other minor league hockey coach, who I'll bring up, Leo Parker. He was the first coach I had at a competitive AA boys level, and there was no different rules for me, and there shouldn't have been. And I learned at such a young age, I think, again, in a naive way, planted a seed in me that I could do anything the boys were doing and treated me accordingly. And that showed up in so many ways how he coached me. and he was hard on me, but he was hard on everyone. And so those moments and that message that he instilled in me in such a young age, I think inspired me to just keep chasing the dream. And even if I couldn't see it at the time, like I had aspirations in life and in this sport, especially because of just the way I think I was shaped as such a young kid with great coaches.
So you had great coaches, you have a great family, you've had people who have supported you all along the way. But I mean, traditionally, hockey can be very conservative too, and there's examples of that, but I think of the first wave of European players who came to the NHL, and I found out years later, like how rough the reception was for them. I mean, have there been obstacles for you along the way?
Yeah, I think, I've faced obstacles, but it hasn't really been an issue for me. I think the biggest challenges are the ones that we often create for ourselves. And I've just always kept my focus, specifically on the coaching side. I've kept my focus on just being the best coach that I can be every day and preparing myself to bring my strengths to the table and to have an organized plan and to create meaningful work and support for the players that I'm working with. And so I think I've been able to kind of silence the challenges and the obstacles because I've just kept my focus so narrow on the task at hand. And I think that's kept me in a good mental space, because I definitely know that you don't have to go too far into social media and the comments sections to find that there are people that definitely don't understand what I'm doing now and or support it. And so though it looks different and it for others might feel different in the game now, I think I am able to actually embrace what I'm doing as a true positive thing.
Going back to that video for a moment with your mom and your sister on the team, as I say, you're from a hockey family, and that's been really important to you. I just want to ask you about the impact of your brother Josh.
Yeah, Josh, he's with me more than ever now. I think he was the driving force for me as a player, and obviously I was so young, 10 years old when he passed away, but he was my oldest brother, and family vacations were going to Calgary and driving 10 hours to go watch him play because he was the oldest and playing at the most competitive level. And so just he unlocked really the dream. And I know that the gift that I have now in front of me and the privilege of the work and the role and getting to be here and experience not only my dream but live out his dream of playing in the NHL and now me working in the NHL, it's for him and it's for our family. We get to all relish in it and get emotional thinking about how he's impacted me and how our family is now able to celebrate this and know he's watching over it all.
A lot of people are going to be watching you this year. A lot of people are going to be cheering you on. And one of the really interesting things I've heard you say in other interviews is that you know the impact you're going to have, not just on little girls, but little boys as well. Tell me about that.
Yeah, it was so special for me to be in this position, especially like I think about Seattle as a new hockey market, a big sports city, but hockey is still a pretty new sport to this landscape, and I'm able to kind of take myself out of the glass bottle and look at it from the fans' perspective or the community's perspective. There's, not just young girls, but there's young boys that are going to witness their first hockey game, and they're not going to see or know anything different than a man can do it, a woman can do it. And that means a lot to me because, again, it brings me back to my childhood. Had I seen it, I might have believed in it. Even through college when I was studying at Cornell and studying communications, I still didn't know that I could dream of becoming an NHL coach or coaching at the highest level. And I kind of had to pursue my own passion to then come up with the idea that, you know what, maybe if I get to this player, then this player, and maybe this can come into my path. But I am so proud to know that the work that I'm doing, the work, the representation can be there now, and not just for young girls to see that they can believe in anything they want to believe in, and for young boys to also know and see the same thing.
It was great watching you on the ice today, and fantastic to finally get to sit down and speak with you. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.